Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's Michael Loftus with Wealth and Wisdom TV. If you've heard me before, our tagline is where education is the key to a successful financial future. Right now, this is exactly what we're doing. We're trying to educate our clients and friends. This is a crazy time, seeing some unprecedented things this week. The biggest thing is liquidity, and that's what I'm going to talk today in our latest fast financial tips. So let's get into it. First up, liquidity, debt, federal debt. We've looked at this for a while, right? Prior to the '08 crash, had about $650 billion. Then we started QE1, QE2, QE3, Operation Twist, right? And QE4. All right, then you see the little button hook down. What was that? Well, finally, they started burning things off. Oh, by the way, that's when the market peaked, okay? And then they started to buy again, repo market, okay? And for me, going into this year, I've said that this is the number one issue facing us going into this year. You should not be having these type of liquidity issues in bull markets, low unemployment, and low interest rates, etc. It just shouldn't be happening, okay? Well, guess what? Friday, okay, the Fed announced a $1.5 trillion infusion. They do that with buying treasuries, buying mortgage backs, etc., and just having liquidity for banks, hedge funds, etc. As always with the Fed, they're late and they're panicking. That is not a good sign. Okay, the next type of liquidity is margin. When you look at margin accounts, right? Can't do this in retirement accounts. You can do it in brokerage accounts. You borrow against your equities, giving you cash, and then you can go ahead and buy more equities. Kind of silly sometimes, but obviously in bull markets, you have it a lot. So much, in fact, as you see by this chart, we hit an all-time high. Another sign, right, of greed, right? That's the last part of a bull market is greed, okay? So when you're down 25, 30%, you get a margin call. You have to sell the security at a discount, obviously, because the market's falling apart, or you got to come up with cash. Okay, one or the other. You don't have a choice. So how does this affect the market this week? Big time, because the market works with buyers and sellers, right? Bid ask, that's how it works. In between is the spread. Okay, this is the last part of liquidity. That spread is generally very tight, right? You put in an order, agreed upon price, it gets executed in a nanosecond, okay? Very easy to understand. Now, here's a headline. Nightmare on Wall Street was all about liquidity. So Friday afternoon, we're trying to sell some of our core holdings. Now, these holdings generally will have a 0.03% spread. Reasonable, right? So you go ahead, you put your order in, you execute, you move on. Friday afternoon, we were seeing 5% type spreads, 4 to 5%. Unprecedented. This doesn't happen. Okay, so that's another issue of liquidity when you hear that. There's no liquidity in the market, right? You've got people panic selling, okay, and there's no buyers. So that's the disconnect, that spread, and that's what we were facing this week. You know, the other thing you have to think about, individual investors don't understand this. Okay, so they come home from work and they log in their account, they're panicking, and they start selling. Well, next morning the market opens, and they have their sell orders there. Let's say it's $100. Well, guess what, folks? A lot of people will go in the next morning and just for the heck of it, put in buys at $70, $75, $20, whatever price, and it gets executed. That's what happens, okay? So you have to be real careful right now. Can't do market orders. You can have limit orders. I mean, the other day, I'm hitting one at a time to make sure I get my price, to secure that price, okay? That's how much volatility there is right now, all right? So a lot going on. This is far from over, right? There's a bear trap on Friday, sucking everybody back in. You don't see those kind of thrusts in bull markets. You see them on bear markets. Now, it's Sunday afternoon recording this. I have a site I can go to see weekend futures. We're already down 4% again. Volatility is going to continue. This is not over. We're going to be smart. We're going to be patient and be available. As always, thanks so much for watching. Michael Loftus, Wealth and Wisdom TV.